with his aunt and uncle on their ranch in encampment. But truancy, bad friends, and eventually breaking and entering got him into the St. Francis Boys' Home. Smoldering with anger at the injustice of life and full of self-pity, he continued to cause trouble whenever a chance came. He might have graduated from St. Francis to the state pen in Rawlins, but for Orion Horncrackle, an aging game and fish warden. Warden Orion Horncrackle had enjoyed the finest kind of boy's life. He and his 3 older brothers had been brought up in the Buffalo Forks country of the Snake River, astride the continent, camping, riding, and hunting the Beartooth and the Buffalo Plateau wilderness in the 1930s and 40s. After World War II, his surviving brothers took over the family ranch, and Orion became the first Horncrackle to attend the university in Laramie. He graduated with a degree in biology, entered the game and fish department a week later, and stayed there the rest of his working life. He was almost 60 and Proulx Munzinski 14 when they met. Orion was climbing the courthouse steps, and Creel, in company with 2 youth service officers, was lagging down, his face in a sour knot. As they drew abreast, Creel kicked the warden in the ankle and smirked. The 2 men with him gave him a jerk that lifted him off his feet and hustled him to an old bread truck that had the words St. Francis Boys' Home painted on the side.
"Who's the pissed-off kid?"
Orion asked the sheriff's deputy who was taking the fresh air at the top of the steps.
One of the St. Francis bunch. They got some mean little bastards out there."
Half an hour later, his poacher a failure to obey citation, Orion drove out into the country looking for the St. Francis Boys' Home. It was a dismal stone building standing solitary on the prairie. He could see a rough baseball diamond and a drooping basketball hoop without a net near an outbuilding with the crooked sign "Laundry" over the door. There were no corrals, no stockyard, no barn, no garden, no mountains in view.
"What in God's name do the boys do here? Must be bored to devilment,"
he told himself. He walked unchallenged around the building, got back in his truck, and left. Back in his office, he telephoned the director of the home and had a long conversation. 2 Saturdays later, Orion Horncrackle, in red-shirted uniform, sat in a folding chair in a cold room, in company with 11 fidgety boys, ages 14 to 17, one of them Proulx Munzinski.
"I know, boys,"
he said in the voice he used when talking to obstreperous horses,
"that most of you think life give you a raw deal, cheated you out of parents and a home place. But you know what? That has happened to many thousands and thousands of kids, and they raised theirselves up pretty good. They turned out decent. They made a mark in the world. I'm here because I want to tell you that you're not as much orphans as you think. You was born in a wonderful, wild place, and I think that if you let Wyoming, your home state, and its wildlife stand in for your human parents, you will do pretty good. I'm going to help introduce you to your new folks. We'll be going up in the mountains on little trips, and everybody will have to pull his weight or he won't come another trip."
"You mean like a bunch of deer will be like our mother and father?" The kid had a face like a pumpkin with incipient peach fuzz.
"Well, in a kind of way. You can learn a lot from deer."
"What about birds? I want an eagle for my dad," said Crossman, catching the idea. "More like a skunk for you," said Creel. But suddenly they all began naming animals they wanted for relatives. A very thin kid who looked half Indian said, "Do we get to ride horses?"
"Aha! What's your name?" "Ramon." "Right to the point. You know, it used to be you could rub a magic..."